No. I drink the alcohol, but there's no such thing as just the right amount. It's either not enough or too much.
And welcome to the Church of Failure, everybody. As usual, that is one of our classic intros where a conversation's already started, and you're here to hear it. So, Church, I heard you've been working yourself to the grindstone until you're ground up.
I worked 75 hours this week.
I mean, that's a lot. That's in fact probably more than you should.
Well, the 52 of it was for one job, and the rest of it was for another.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd say that's not good for you, but you do have two little rugrats who do enjoy eating food, and they eat a lot of it. So, I mean, if I was in your situation, I'd probably work more hours than I'd be comfortable working too.
Well, I'm actually not here right now. I've got to be quiet until House of the Dragon ends.
Mm, mm. Well, uh, Joe started something on Twitter, so I figured we'd bring it to the people.
Oh, we're
Oh,
we're starting with that, are we?
yeah, we're starting with that because it's like good content.
All right. I mean, I'm surprised. I thought of it as a trifling matter because I think we've said everything that can be said about this film.
Yes, but I mean,
Um,
how often is it that we both watch the same film?
that is novelly rare. That is true.
Hmm? What's this?
Oh,
Hmm.
Church is
Hmm.
gonna share a an animated abortion with us.
Nice. So yeah. So what did you think of Furiosa?
All right, so a friend of mine wanted to watch for years, so wanted to watch it with me, and I was like, no. And it's like, what? It's like, we do not watch Furiosa until you have seen all of Mad Max. And they're like, well, I've seen Mad Max. It's like, have you? And they were like, yeah. So we started watching it, and then discovered, oh no, they hadn't seen Mad Max. They had only ever seen Road Warrior.
I mean, that's an understandable choice, not a good choice.
Well, they're younger than me, so they may not have the wherewithal or the knowledge base. So
In
we
my
watched.
personal opinion, Mad Max is a better movie than The Road Warrior. The Road
Depends on what you're
Warrior,
depends on what you're there for, but yes, I think Mad Max is the unsung classic of the original trilogy that does not get enough credit.
so anyway, back to the
Yeah.
story.
So we watched all three, and we did in fact watch Fury Road again, right?
Hmm.
Uh, we'd all both seen it, but it's like, no, we gotta be up to date. We gotta be familiar with what we're looking at. And uh, I still liked everything, but over time, I have come to be of the opinion that Thunderdome is not as bad as people make it out to be.
No,
Right?
Thunderdome actually is an excellent closing of
Yeah,
of trilogy.
yeah. Uh, well, because you start with Mad Max, that's the dying of the world. Then you go to Road Warrior, that's the the growing new normal in the ashes of what has collapsed. And then yeah, Thunderdome is the restoration of shared humanity, right? They bookend very nicely, right?
And
uh
then you have Fury Road, which what if we didn't go far enough in Road Warrior?
well, specifically, uh as has been the dodge to avoid criticism, it's the ongoing argument that no, this is just a story of the wasteland. It's a tale told, right? And it's like, sure, it's a tale that Max was not in because his name was Tom Hardy. Uh, but if you're a person who liked Road Warrior, and I liked Road Warrior, it's not offensive. I don't dislike it. I don't even think that the chest beating "Who Burned the World" line is necessarily super egregious, because we hadn't gone all in on the power of mothers angle, right? But that's where Furiosa falls on its face as a film, right? Because it takes the subtle intimations of Fury Road and ramps them up to 11, right? When you watch Fury Road at the very beginning and you see Immortan Joe being Immortan Joe, you don't know how awful his empire actually is yet, right? It's brutal, it's barbaric, but it is what is necessary to survive in that environment, in that time, with those resources, right?
People
And
got food. People
right,
got water. They got gasoline. They got bullets.
right. And you say, but not everyone. It's like, well, no, there are peasants. There are those who lack. That's awful. Obviously, Joe and his family are bad guys because they're keeping the
Sorry
best
for the
themselves.
resets. Apparently, my Steam does not like the big picture mode with my controller. Does not like me using an emulator.
Mm,
Mm.
I understand this pain. I have used my Steam Link to watch movies on my computer before by shunting them from the Steam Link to the VCL to the computer, or the VLC rather. But
So
anyway,
peasants.
yeah,
It's awful.
yeah, it's awful. And then you find out it's like, oh yeah, it's like slavery. Well, that's extra bad. That's the extra double not good. And by the end of the film, it's like, yeah, I want to see Immortan Joe's citadel burn, and I want to see the villainous warlords replaced by someone more humane. Which, whether or not it's gonna work out, considering how the brides are wasting that water, you know,
And how the elders from the Green Place, got destroyed. So I
yeah.
mean, are these really the
But
people we need to manage the aquaculture and the
but
greenery here?
but to be fair, if you're just using Fury Road, if you've never seen Furiosa, it's still a hopeful note. It could work. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be immediate. There's still a long way to go. But there's the statement of intent. You know, that's solid, right? And then you see Furiosa. And where do we start? We start with, well, the green place. We start with this child, and it's like, right, a child raised in plenty who's only known this, and the subtle intimation that everything outside of this place is evil and wrong. Right? Now, if that's the child's perspective because they're raised in it, that's fine. But that's not what is presented. It is in fact presented that is the perspective of people who fucking live there. They found a good place and they decided the best way to secure it and to keep it and to improve themselves was to hide it from the world and murder anyone who was from outside that they didn't decide was on the good boy list. Now, if this is a pragmatic decision, that's fine. It's ruthless, it's cruel, it's fine. That's survival. It's not great, but it is what it is, right? But the thing is that we are not presented as though the people of the Green Place are good, because the movie can't take that time. We don't have that time to waste building up that the Green Place is good, and the people in the Green Place are good and are a chance for a better society. We're just told in that most grievous of movie sins, where we're told rather than shown that they're the good guys. And we know that Furiosa is one of the good guys because she's going to grow up to be a good guy, right? Right? So who are our bad guys? Well, our bad guys are the Raiders. Our bad guys are the Wasteland Bandits. Well, why are they bad guys? Because we're told they're bad guys, and because they stole a child and they ate a horse, and they're going to do bad things. Okay. You know they live in the fucking desert, right? You know they got nothing, right?
And they got a smart guy who tells them smart things.
Right. And that's the thing, is that as you go through it, they introduce you to characters, they introduce you to situations, and your bad guys. Well, why are your bad guys bad? Because their situation sucks and they've done what they've had to do to survive. They decided that humanity was less important than survival, which, I mean, you can say that's a bad decision. I'm not going to fault it for saying that's a bad decision, but it's an equally acceptable decision in your situation, right? And you don't even have to go that far back in history for this kind of choice to be made. Lots of people would say, Dark Ages, World War II, Russia. No, the Dust Bowl.
Mhm.
Okies in America.
Mhm.
I can either eat or they can eat. And they got more than me.
So
And I got
funny.
kids.
So
Fuck 'em.
funny story about that. My grandfather was an Okie in the Dust Bowl, and he and his brothers went to these big grain silos the federal government had, and they attempted to break in and get food, and they went to jail.
Right.
And my grandfather never had any, feelings of like he was wrong for what he did, because he wasn't.
So, well, if Ayrton was here and we got into the big moral quandary, he would have a very different opinion and be very oppositional to myself. But the thing is that if you believe in law and order,
Mm-hmm.
then what they did was wrong. Okay? But
Mm-hmm.
in the way of lucky number 11, wrong and acceptable are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
If I am starving and my literal only option is possibly an assault, a theft, and if I have to, a murder, is it wrong? Yes. Was it acceptable? Well, the other option was I die.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could say that it is wrong to put your life ahead of someone else's, but on some level, that ultimately in a survival situation is always the choice.
You can say that, but it's okay to be wrong.
Do tell, sir.
Church is putting in for Ayrton. He's putting in Ayrton hours.
I mean, sure, but I would postulate that we have examples, real living examples.
No, for real. Like if you or them, you is always the answer.
Oh yeah, no, I get that, but what I'm saying is that there are situational modifiers, right? If I'm not going to start,
if it's us or them, it's always me.
Right, but what I'm getting at though is like if it's us or if it's them or me, okay, but there is a third option. Somebody says, look, we can work together, we can share. It doesn't have to be us and you and me against each other, right? And if that's a viable option, you take that option. But if there's
man, you've never seen Kung Fu Panda 4, Rules of the Streets. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
Yeah, you know what? I don't take
somebody always gets hurt. Make sure it's not you.
I don't take my morals from a Jack Black vehicle that is over fucking played.
Look, if I'm taking my morals from anywhere, it's a Jack Black vehicle. Usually a Camino.
I get your snark, but what I'm getting at though is the thesis here in Furiosa is green place good, not green place bad, even though the people who are not in the green place on many levels didn't do anything wrong, right? And it's like, okay, well, who are our bad guys? Because that's the criticism that people give Thunderdome. Who the bad guy? Tina Turner not the bad guy. Master Blaster not a good guy. Iron Bar kind of a bad guy just because he's a thug. But who the bad guy, right? Well, in Fury Road, Immortan Joe the bad guy. 100%. Right? Because he wants to steal back his child brides who don't want to be sex slaves anymore. Solid moral paradigm.
That sounds like a personal problem. Like, if you don't want to be a sex slave, just get the hell out of the way.
I mean, they were doing that. They were getting out the way, and Immortan Joe sent all of his warlords and all of his murderers after them to get them back. The entire movie is an extended chase scene to go get what he deems his property that says, I'm not your property anymore.
Like,
But-
the R. Kelly victims. Are they really victims? Because, I mean, you don't want to get peed on. You could just move out of the way.
Well, you see, that's why R. Kelly started up a sex cult.
He convinced them they did want to get peed on.
Yes.
Right. And then you have the natural question, does that make R. Kelly a villain because he made a sex cult to convince people to be peed on?
Yes.
It made him a
Yes,
businessman.
it does.
And businessmen in America are the villain.
So, but then we look at Furiosa, right? Well, the people in the green place, not the good guy. Furiosa, just a kidnapped victim who's doing her best to survive, not the good guy. Right?
Mhm.
And we have this character played by Chris Hemsworth, who's not doing Thor, I swear.
Who should
called-
really stop? Oh wait, no, it's Chris Pratt that should stop acting. My bad.
But no, it's Chris Pine who needs to stop acting.
No, Chris Pratt. I'm so tired of hearing his fucking voice. Like, if you want to act, that's fine, but stop being a voice actor. I'm
I
tired of
understand.
hearing you as the voice of all the characters.
I understand this pain. But either way, what I'm actually getting at though is, you have this character played by Chris Hemsworth called Dementus, and Dementus is a Banland warlord who wants to make good. He wants to get a city-state. He wants to have the big time, and is
Also,
halfway
he
bad at it.
also has one of the worst prosthetic noses I have ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, but he is super charming in a narrow defile, right? He knows what to say to convince desperate people to listen to him, but he's not smart. He's not capable.
But
Right?
he does have people around him who are smarter and
Right.
capabler.
Right, and he knows how to use those people's skills to his best advantage. Okay? He's not a bad guy. What's more, he's not even the worst guy. Right?
I mean, he killed a woman because she had access to stuff that he and his people needed.
Right.
Food.
Now, mind you want to say that there was no cause for the brutal, murderous torture and making a child watch? No, he was being a monster. He did do some terrible things,
Yes.
right?
But
There are other scenes, other components where it is pointed out that he's basically another survivor. He's another walking wounded of a world that was, right?
Mhm.
This is a damaged man in a damaged world doing the best he can with a broken moral compass just to survive, just like everyone else. He's not a bad guy. And once he's got what he wanted, or at least close enough, once he's sitting on the top of the stack of loot, guess what? He's bad at it.
Mhm.
He was defined by the chase for survival. Actually surviving, he had no plan. Right?
Mhm.
But then again, and yes, spoilers if you haven't seen this movie. Then we have the penultimate fuckery. So Furiosa defines her life by, I'm gonna hunt down Dementus and kill him for killing my mom, for taking me away from the green place. Okay,
I mean,
fine.
does she though?
I mean, as much as she can, except when she almost gets a boyfriend. Yet again, good job, Hollywood. You're all about strong female leads. Unless they get the D, then they become women.
Well, I mean, realistically, she spends most of her time trying to get to an alternate career track in Immortan Joe's society.
right.
And I don't see her really having a viable plan to go after Chris Hemsworth's character until she gets the D.
Yeah, it never actually manifests. Her actual motivations are all over the place, which I suppose is supposed to be cyclical to Dementis himself. Dementis doesn't know what he wants. She doesn't know what she wants. But she somehow decides that she's going to be a human being while he decides to be a savage. Except that doesn't work at any level. And why? Because at the end of the movie, they have her do the most barbaric thing I can possibly imagine. The most savage, most ancient, most fucking knuckle-dragging caveman vengeance. And then they try to hide behind, oh, well, it's a story was told to me.
Wait, is this a oh fuck, what was the guy on Mars? Who was the guy on Mars?
On Mars?
Yeah, the guy that fucked the green bitches on Mars.
John Carter?
Yes, is this a John Carter story?
No.
God, no.
That would
God,
be better. I would actually be entertained by John Carter on Barsoom. No. The thesis is that some stories say Furiosa just shot him in the back of the head and called it done, which would have been the better answer, right? Some stories get real gross and real vicarious about the kind of vengeance she got. She killed him in the same way that he killed her mom and the like. But no, the actual answer is that she took a wounded Chris Hemsworth home to Morton Joe. They put him in their farm and they planted a fucking tree in his groin that grew in him. And when I say the most primitive, most knuckle-dragging, barbaric origin of torture, many people do not know about how the Gales used to kill Oathbreakers. Because back in the earliest part of the Dark Ages in Ireland, what the ancient Irish would do if you were an Oathbreaker, called a warlock, is they would flinch you alive with a fucking sharpened rock, and then they'd lock you in a tree so that the tree would grow over you while they fed you food and water to keep you alive. Okay? She got her vengeance by being far worse than he ever was to anyone. But he's the bad guy, so it's okay, because then she went on to save a bunch of sex slaves. So that evens things out, right?
That you really didn't have a strong emotional connection to in this movie.
Other than they were sex slaves, and she decided that was wrong, and she was going to take them to the green place, which, oh yes, by the way, because we've all seen Fury Road, doesn't exist. The entire hope and aspiration is forlorn. There's nothing there.
We've all seen the good place. We know the twist at the end. It's all the bad place.
Yeah, it's all the bad place, and everyone is bad in it. Good job.
So, here are some elements of this movie that I'm thinking about, saying that, we could have done some more interesting things here if the movie did what was going to come naturally. She was sold into sex slavery by a Morton Joe. And Joe just didn't care. She disappeared. That was weird to me. I'm not saying I want to see Gross and Morton Joe have sex with a child. I'm saying it seemed weird that he'd just be like, oh, hey, the child's missing, and I have a new worker drone that looks kind of like a woman. Nah, it'll be fine.
Matter of point, no one ever noticed she was a chick over what is implied to be 15 plus years.
One guy almost noticed she was a chick.
Yeah.
That was kind of baffling. And I just think that they didn't want to have a story about a gross fat guy having sex with an underage woman in Hollywood.
Which, admittedly, no one wants. Like, that's not a bad decision. But there are ways to talk about that potentiality without actually exploring it.
But here's an alternative thought. What if Furiosa wasn't ever one of Morton Joe's sex slaves? Then the story would have made more sense.
Well, let's take this theory of alternate interpretation to its absolute limit with a much better film. Why was this not the gangs of Australia?
Yeah.
Right? You have Amsterdam, as the audience insert, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who wants to kill Butcher Bill from the beginning, right? And decides the best way to do so is to insinuate himself into his inner circle to get close. And it is only much later, at the near climax of the film, that he realizes that he has been co-opted by his own process. It was so comfortable and successful in the shadow of the monster that he forgot that he was planning to kill the monster.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that have been a much better character arc for Furiosa?
It really would.
And we wouldn't have needed Chris Hemsworth's character. We could have just had a younger, less decrepit Immortan Joe who murdered her family. And then she had her quest for vengeance of Immortan Joe, and then she ended up at the end of the movie as his violent right-hand person.
Well, you can still have Chris Hemsworth's character, because what you do is you have that instead of insinuating herself into the inner circle of Immortan Joe directly, she decides to insinuate herself into Dementis's crew by having Dementis already be the Lord of Gastown, rather than track the story of how he got to be the Lord of Gastown for 5 minutes before he lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. That all would have been a better thing than what we got. Another problem I had with the movie is this is supposed to be a revenge story, right? That's what the movie is supposed to be. Am I getting the movie right, Joe? That it's supposed to be a revenge story.
That was their implication, yeah.
Look, I've already seen Death Race.
I mean, I love me some Death Race.
Well, hold up. We're talking about the original one with Carradine and Stallone in it, right?
Yeah, the good.
Because the good one.
No, the ones with Statham in it.
No. Those aren't anything as good as the ones with Carradine and Stallone.
Let's be fair. Is the first Statham one any kind of good? Because that's just a remake.
I like the Statham movies. I like the Carradine movies, but I like the Statham movies better.
You see, to me, it's like all Jason Statham movies are basically the same. They've all become just a sort of tasteless mush together. But anyway, what I was asking about with revenge movies is, isn't the point of a revenge movie is your protagonist is plotting and scheming and making their effort towards achieving their revenge?
I mean,
isn't it the vicarious thrill you get because you're a civilized human being and you know revenge is wrong and causes problems in society, but you're like, yeah, but what if I could watch a fictional person who could do it and get away with it? Isn't that the point of those sorts of movies?
I mean, it is and it isn't, but it is.
So why is it we don't get to Furiosa doing anything close to revenging until like an hour and 15 minutes into the movie?
Because it's not 1976 and it's not Miller Kennedy making Mad Max 1. Let me explain that, because I mean that seems obvious, but the original Mad Max is a very good film. And in conversation you and I have had previously, you have said that Road Warrior is pornographic, right?
Yes.
And we're not talking about explicit sexual porn. We're talking about the cathartic proxy enjoyment of violence and spectacle.
And also there's Lord Humongous. Don't forget Lord Humongous. He is in a gimp outfit.
Yeah. So here's the thing. At the same time that Mad Max was being made and came out, right? Zero budget, ultra violent, revenge piece. You have films like Last Door on the Left, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I Spit on Your Grave, right? It was a good time for grindhouse schlock, some of which is now modern classic, right? People who made those films, some of them went on to be somebody, right? And with that in mind, that is what Furiosa should be. Is okay if she's gonna go get revenge against somebody, it should be not just revenge, but absolutely vicious, brutal revenge. There are several recent films that have dealt with that. There's a horror movie where a young woman is brutally violated by some dudes and then just abandoned and left for dead and survives and comes back and shoots them all. Right?
Yep.
Very direct, very to the point. Furiosa was a mainstream modern day release for movie theaters, for everybody, potentially not quite for families. And they wanted that maximum money. And
They did not get it.
The mainstream theater industry does not want to see violent, awful, savage revenge yarns. They want to sell you on the idea that they're better than that stuff. Only savages watch such low-class fare. We're for modern audiences now, and modern audiences want positive images. We want images full of hope. Mad Max is not a story of hope. It never has been.
let me. Well, I can argue there's hope in Max, but let me talk to you about my favorite revenge movie, which coincidentally stars a guy you might have heard of called Mel Gibson, called Payback.
Oh, I love Payback.
Payback starts very simple. A man gets screwed over, and he realizes the value of his life, and he's going to go collect that value. And he shoots and does violence to every person who's in his way. And they just don't understand that they value his life more than he does.
Right.
And we only get really brutal violence at the very end to Mel, who survives it. So you can have a hopeful revenge story. You know, Mel and the hooker drove away to have a good life together.
Yeah.
You can have a hopeful revenge story.
And
but
interestingly enough, yet again, who the bad guy? There are exactly 2 actual villains in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the 2?
The guy who betrays Porter's a villain.
Yep.
And I would say the middle manager at the organization.
See, I would not say the middle manager. I know that I can see the argument for the middle manager, but no.
You gonna go with Christopherson?
Chris Christopherson. Because here's the thing. The middle manager is a businessman. He's doing what his job requires. His job requires they deal with this Mel Gibson situation. And he put it off on Mel Gibson's betrayer to deal with it because it was their private scuffle. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you get up to, I keep wanting to say it's Sam Winston, but it's not. The next guy up in the chain, he was on vacation. He didn't know any of this shit was going on.
Chris Christopherson wasn't a middle manager. He was a dam builder.
No. There was a middle manager guy. There was a guy above him, and then there was Chris Christopherson.
Yeah,
no.
And
Chris Christopherson was a dam builder.
And no,
not in this
he wasn't
thing.
a highwayman.
No. Waylon Jennings was a dam builder.
Larry knows what I'm talking
Johnny
about.
Cash that was.
I do.
Was piloting.
No,
a
Johnny
starship.
Cash flew the fucking starship. Don't fuck it up, Rune.
No, I'm
Well,
not making it up. Because then, of course, you got Willie. Willie was the actual highwayman.
Well, hold up. You do know that Johnny Cash was one of the first science fiction authors in America.
No shit.
When Johnny Cash was staged
under the pen name L. Ron Hubbard.
Not under the pen name L. Ron Hubbard, though, but he was in the military in East Germany, and he wrote a science fiction novel. It did okay, but not great, until Johnny Cash started selling record albums. Then the book sold very well.
What's the book?
Give me a second, I'll look it up.
While you're looking that up, no, the thing is that the right hand man basically didn't know any of this shit was going on, and is just kind of out of sorts for the whole thing, right? And then they get Mel Gibson. They're torturing him to try and get the information out of him, or at least threatening him with it. He's been softened up. He's been punched in the face a little bit. And they're like, look, man, just give us what we want to know, and we'll forget it. We'll let you go. We don't give a shit about you. You're nothing, right? But when Chris Christopherson shows up, everybody's like, "Oh fuck, it's too late now."
I'm sorry. Chris Christopherson was not a dam builder. He was a sailor.
Right.
He was born upon the tide.
Right.
And
Waylon
with
was the
sea,
dam
he did
builder.
abide. Waylon was the dam builder. I apologize.
So
Chris
Johnny,
sailed a schooner around the Horn of Mexico
But if you
and went aloft and furled the mainsail in the blow.
right,
And when the yards broke off, they said that he got killed, but he
he's
was
still
living
living.
still.
Yeah, that's why he was in Blade. So the thing is, though, is that if you recall in that film, not only does Chris Christopherson menace Mel Gibson, but specifically states that he will give him a blood transfusion to keep him alive longer so he can continue to suffer. That's not a businessman. That's a monster. It's a monster in action.
so the name of the book that Johnny Cash wrote is The Holographic, and the holographic is spelled with an F-I-K. Dancer, spelled D-A-N-S-E-R. And he wrote that in 1953.
Huh.
And it's a book about basically kind of a cyberpunk story in an America conquered by the Soviet Union. The book portrays a 21st century America that has been conquered by Russia. Major cities have been razed by nuclear attacks, and entertainment was paid for in kiosks and then piped into homes via phone lines. Partly inspired by the news of the explosion in television broadcasting, he envisioned a time when live holographic entertainment would be beamed into living rooms, $12 a show.
So pay-per-view, before pay-per-view was a thing.
Yes, and also streaming, potentially. He further imagined the possibility of a man projecting himself into the hologram. So, that's a thing. Johnny Cash wrote a sci-fi novel. So,
I mean, Johnny Cash also hurt himself today.
He sure did. He sure did. So, what was your opinion about the performance of Anna Taylor-Joy as Furiosa in Furiosa?
Before you answer this, Rune, can I just express how disappointed I am that we allowed an American actress to progress her career with the name of Awkwafina?
I mean, she's not really an actress.
I'm just saying, she was in. So we watched Kung Fu Panda 4 today with my children while I was working on this catalog.
And I'm sorry you had to see Awkwafina.
That explains a lot.
I didn't have to see her; I had to hear her, though. But the fact that I learned that this bitch's name was Awkwafina, and I was like, "No, that's Pepsi's water."
No, Church, it's much worse than that. Have you heard her music?
That would be no. You know what? You know what, Larry? For that, fuck you, Larry.
And
I didn't know she had music before you said something.
Now there's two.
Now you're fucked, Larry. Now I'm going to remove you again. Nope. I didn't know she had music until you said something.
I'm just gonna say that jokes about Awkwafina are actually the worst part of BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, I didn't know Awkwafina had music before you said that, and now that I know it, I'm gonna get curious and I'm gonna be like, "What's this sound like singing?"
She's a rapper, Church. And she's a rapper. She's not even the singer.
There's only one thing to do with that information, Larry. You know what that is. I'm not saying he's your math, motherfuckers.
I'm not saying he's off to drink, but you know, if Church happened to crawl his way into a bottle, I wouldn't blame him.
So anyway,
I'm gonna finish it now.
So anyway, did you? What was your opinion about Anna Taylor-Joy's performance
in Furiosa?
Yes.
It's a feeling I've had about a lot of movies recently. It's really unfortunate she's in this movie. Okay.
She's a much better actress than this movie, and they only have her for half of it.
Right. There are a lot of actresses recently that I think are excellent, who are unfortunately tasked with turning absolute garbage into halfway decent film.
And they didn't really give her a lot to do in this movie. Versus if they had made this a brutal grindhouse, revenge schlock fest, she'd have had a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah. That's the thing is, well, because as a for instance, I don't think the kid was a bad actor either.
Mhm.
Right.
I think for a child actor, the kid did a good job. Because most child actors are awful.
Right. I think a lot of people were on point with their roles.
I think Chris Hemsworth needs to stop playing himbos. It's only worked for him in one movie.
Which film was that, by the way?
Thor 3.
You mean the one I
because-
didn't watch because it didn't work? That one?
Well, no. The himbo act in Thor 3 was part of him having a character arc where he matured and grew up.
Right.
And then they decided to ruin that in Thor Ragnarok. Because Taika Waititi
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, excuse me, because Taika Waititi got high on his own supply.
Yeah. That's actually the conversation point I had with people recently. Is they were like, "Oh, I love What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show," and I'm like, I liked the original film, and they're like, "Well, do you like the series?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Do you like do you like this?" Like, no. Well, why not? It's like, because Taika Waititi is a skilled piece of trash.
The thing about the movie versus the TV show is that there's a movie's worth of gags for What We Do in the Shadows. There's not a multi-season TV series worth of gags.
There really is not.
Now, the psychic vampire being introduced, that was novel.
For about 5 minutes. I find that character insufferably obnoxious.
I mean, that's the point of the character.
Yeah, no, and that's the point of the show. It's all insufferable and obnoxious. It is some of the worst television I've ever seen. And it's a real shame because, again, it's attached to something that was much better.
What would have been cool is if they did the Werewolf Bro version as the TV show.
I know that movie was a plan. I don't know if that movie's ever happening.
It's probably not happening, but wouldn't that have been a cool movie?
That would have been better.
And yeah, so my thoughts and yours are largely lined up here. It was a very passive protagonist, and it didn't have to be, and it didn't serve anybody. They also muted the action compared to Fury Road, but that's a different kind of problem. Is they set the bar so high with Fury Road that you couldn't top it. You couldn't even really meet it from the action standpoint.
I mean, there's a weird example. You have two different attacked races to Gastown. I watched both of them. Not only did they feel interchangeable, right, but not enough interesting happens to actually make me give a shit. Because one of the things that I noticed about Furiosa, which I believe was commented on by others in other venues, is just how much of this film is CGI.
Yep.
Right? It is so actively fake and gay.
Versus, you know what they did in the new Bad Boys movie? They used actual practical effects. They used actual squibs.
Wow. I remember squibs.
I have problems every time I see digital squibs in movies. I understand why movies do that, but I don't.
I mean, it's one of the ways that I've always been able to notice is that anyone who lives, I mean, fuck, I smashed the shit out of myself yesterday. My arm is all fucked up, and I know my blood is red. Okay, blood is red. But if you watch enough zombie movies, everybody's got black blood. Fucking shoot tar out of your lungs.
Mhm. So, guys, I saw the most recent episode of The Acolyte, and like most of the rest of The Acolyte, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
I mean, it's actually funny. We have the wheel of cope. It's
Mhm.
color wheel. Because on one level you have, oh my god, best thing ever. I huff my own farts and I've never actually, not consumed product. Right? You have, well, okay, it's better than other, but not as great as this. Right? Because there are people trying to say that this episode was good, but other episode bad. Right?
Mhm.
And then you have people going, this is kind of shit. And then you have lore people going, this was kind of shit and was not lore. And then you have lore people going, no, it's okay because other bad lore say good. And then you have real people going, this was shit. This was always shit. Why are you watching this? We knew this was shit before it ever showed picture 1. You're now 5 episodes in and it's shit.
Mhm.
And it all
Mhm.
and in matter of point, it's not just that it's shit, but that it is a ever growing, widening tunnel of shit.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
Just
so
give me a second. Just this morning, I found out that now we can headbutt lightsabers.
I mean, that's not even really the big problem. The fact that they had Cortos's weave in the helmet and
Sure,
he
but
headbutted.
I get that. But tell me more about the Sith who laughs.
So
That's a huge problem. Let's put this into perspective real quick, Larry.
yes,
So you're telling me that there are doors in the Star Wars universe that
Mhm.
protect some of the most important people in the galaxy that
yes,
aren't made of the same material that this nigga's helmet's made out of?
correct.
No, fuck you. I defy you to tell me that, because if this motherfucker has a helmet made out of this bullshit and the most important people in the galaxy don't have doors and spaceships and everything made out of impenetrable lightsaber material,
It's not impenetrable.
then you can go fuck yourself.
It's just immune to lightsabers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's immune to them. Therefore,
It can be
there should be a
penetrated by
layer
other
of it in
things.
between every door and every ship and everything. Going up inside the asshole of Thanos, there should be a fucking lightsaber resistant piece of metal right there.
I mean, I didn't know Thanos was into that.
I did not need to know that Thanos has a lightsaber resistant butt plug. Thank you, Church. You've ruined my life.
Well, you guys have ruined mine in the last 2 years, so I'm glad that I can return the favor.
All right,
So-
it's fair.
So, remember when I was talking about the last episode, how they ended it with a giant force push?
Yeah.
They started it with our erstwhile protagonist waking up to see a fight with a bunch of Jedi versus a Sith already in progress. It was shot between trees in bad lighting to hide all the bad CGI, and also to make it so you can't snap the little images of, the fact stage
All right.
fighting is just really dancing.
All right, let's take a step back here because I wanna comment on this. You're telling me that yet again we are having a fight scene in nearly black conditions
Yes.
to hide bad CGI and the
That's
like.
racist.
Yes.
But your primary 2 combatants that are supposed to be really interesting to see are trained martial artists.
Yes.
Because Sith Man is a martial artist and an actor,
Yes.
and Jedi Man, Soul
Now-
a good guy, is a martial artist and an actor.
Now, I will say there are some scenes where we do get to see stuff. But, ironically, those are the scenes where it's 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, not the scenes where it's 8-on-1. Almost like
Is
you
that
shouldn't
stuff
have...
a boob? Do we get to see a boob?
We do not, no.
No longer interested.
No Jed titties for you.
So, they shouldn't
That
have
way
made...
lies the dark side, sir.
So, they shouldn't have made a movie where it was where there were 8-on-1 Jedi versus Sith battles.
No,
Because
here's the thing. We know you can. They just lacked the wisdom and cinematographic experience to do it. Go watch 1,000 Assassins. Go watch the 7 Samurai, the actual original.
That's a lot of assassins to
Okay.
watch, Rune. Can I just watch like 5?
I mean, you could, but what I'm getting at is that you have a running conflict, right? Where your one hero or your group of heroes, right, or your antagonist, if it's a group of heroes fighting one antagonist, run and gun. They flee, and your heroes or your villains follow them, and in so doing, turn the 8-on-1 fight into a series of one-on-one running duels where the larger number gets winnowed down by skill and desperate conflict. Right?
that would have been a
looks
better.
really fucking amazing, and it
That
doesn't
would have been
require
better.
you to CGI up that you've got 8 people all flailing in a close proximity.
So
Are either one of you guys familiar with the concept of the Rat King?
Yes.
yes,
Okay. So why don't we do this with Hollywood producers?
just put all of them into a tin and see if they merge into one producer or kill each other.
Not
Sure.
merge, but cannibalize one another until the strongest producer emerges.
With our luck, it'll
Even
be
though they have
Gayland
the
fucking
gusto to make
Herd.
a good show, or get eaten.
so our secondary protagonist / secondary antagonist, she wakes up, she tries to escape, and then the white Padawan fights her, and they have a good martial arts fight
What's Padawan got to be white, Larry?
because her character has white makeup on,
Mhm.
and her
How
character
does
is.
Padawan feel about the conflict between Israel and Palestine?
I mean, based on her politics, she doesn't care for the Jews.
Good. I'm with this Padawan then.
Anyway,
Look, Church, we all know it is the white Padawan's burden.
so
What color
Then,
is this Padawan's eyes, Larry?
well, hold up,
Right.
hold up, hold up. So then the Padawan and Smilo Ren, as the internet likes to call the villain,
Milo Ren.
have had a really cool fight, which works out real well until the villain ends up with dual lightsaber action. That he stabs her like 4 times in the chest with a lightsaber.
Which
Actually,
is a euphemism for his penis.
I mean, obviously. And he loses his helmet. The Jedi tries to ask him to take off
Wait,
his
does that
helmet.
mean that the Sith? Does that mean that the Sith supports Israel? Is that the direction we're going here?
No,
no.
that's not the direction we're going.
The Sith is a martial artist. He clearly supports China.
No.
Anyway, so the Sith was asked by our lead Jedi, the only one who survives, which was another problem with the fight scene of all the characters except 3 in this fight scene had names, and all the ones who didn't have names died.
That's typically how it goes, though, right?
And 2 of the names of the 3 named characters died.
Wait a minute. That's not typically how it goes.
And one of the named characters who died was a black guy.
Holy shit! This is a horror movie.
Yes. And the Jedi asks our villain, take off your helmet. And he's like, why in the world would I do that? You'd see my face and you could read my mind. And the Jedi doesn't have a good answer to that. And he takes off his helmet. Is
Wait,
removed
is the
from him.
villain the Sith Juggernaut? Or the Sith Magneto?
No. He's clearly the Sith who laughs.
The Sith who laughs because he has like a jagged smile on his helmet.
Yeah,
That's why
but see, here's the thing. Like, that whole trope is literally from an X-Men comic book because Magneto and Juggernaut both have helmets that protect their minds from psychics.
Yep. And he, of course, acts like, well, I mean, you know who I am, to the lead Jedi from Squid Game. And he's like going, what? And of course, this whole thing is going to be, they're going to reveal in episode 7 or 8 that there's a whole lot of mindfuckery going on. And the story with the space lesbian witches was not what we were led to believe it was, because everybody's memory got fucked with.
You know, they missed a great opportunity. If you've got the lead guy from Squid Game, and you're going to have him be a Jedi, you obviously have him be a Mon Calamari.
And the guy from Squid Game actually learned English to play his part.
Also, you have to do the light Masamune as opposed to just a standard lightsaber.
Yes.
Right.
It has to be a light samurai sword.
Well, I mean, they have different swords in Korea, Church.
I mean, you just posit that he's an Eastern
Larry,
Jedi.
fuck you.
And
It
they're
has to be a light
different
samurai sword because that's what gets my dick hard.
So the Sith says, I just want to be free to use my powers in the way I want, without the Jedi telling me no. And he said, and since you've seen my face, I have to murder all of you, which really establishes how he wants to use his powers. But remember, the show wants us to think, maybe the Jedi are the bad guys. No?
Can we just call them Sith posters now instead of shit posters?
Now that was a good one. That was good, Church. I like that one. And at the end of the,
like I told you, I was going to be useless. Like the fact that I'm even here is fucking monumental.
I mean, we're streaming Kingdom Hearts. I mean that's good content. That's good quality content.
Yeah, we're getting that anime demographic that wants to watch Kingdom Hearts Let's Plays.
Well, this is what I wanted to play for like 20 years, and I haven't had a PS2 in that amount of time.
I'm sorry, but I mean I understand, but I am sorry.
It's the gummy ship, man. I have a fucking hard on for the gummy ship. I like building them to look like Batmobiles.
Okay.
I'm literally the only person in the world that has that thing, but I like doing it. The system is horrible. It's a terrible fucking side mission thing, but I really wish they had put out a standalone gummy ship game. I would have invested 1,000 hours into that alone. We can get more into that when I'm sober.
We're learning things about church today.
So the episode ends. The episode ends with what we all knew was happening. The twins switch places. The evil twin goes to the Jedi. The good twin goes to the Sith. And that's our teaser for the next episode. And somebody who used to work for Harvey Weinstein thought this was a good idea. And what's inevitably going to happen is either episode 6, which is our next episode, or episode 7, we're going to get a flashback. It's going to recontextualize everything. And then we're going to have an unsatisfactory ending in episode 8 that's going to resolve a plot thread and imply that we might get other plot threads resolved.
Which then will not happen.
Yes.
So here's something that I feel like I should bring up with all the Star Wars talk going on because of the Acolyte, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are the Jedi considered the good guys when they enslaved an entire brood of clones to fight for them because they discovered?
Well, they didn't.
No, they did. Yoda gave the order to enlist the clones into the Clone Wars because they discovered that they didn't encourage their creation.
No,
but they did enlist them into the war. And the clone, yes, they did.
No, the Republic did and put the Jedis in charge of the clones.
No. Yoda's the one that was like, we need an army.
Here's the thing. The clarifying information is they were already made by Darth Sidious.
Yes.
They were already sitting there on the shelf.
No, right? No. Darth Sidious wasn't posing as a Jedi. but the guy that conscripted their creation off of the DNA
Dooku.
of Jango Fett
Yeah.
was
But-
posing as a Jedi.
But the thing is that the Confederacy was there and was going to win, right? And so Yoda said, "All right, I'm gonna make the hard call. We're gonna use these things, even though they're a bad idea, because we need the win." That doesn't make him a villain. That makes him make a bad decision, because he
Well,
never
here's
never
the thing.
stopped
I
to
mean, the
consider.
argument is it makes him a pragmatist, but
Here's the thing. The implication of what happened in the movie is that Yoda didn't make that decision. The government did, and he was just
Yeah,
put in
but the
charge of it
books
by the
are-
government.
I'm going off the books, but yes.
Either
You see,
way,
normally the books make more sense than what's in the movies.
well, I mean, if the books have to be in service of a bad story anyway.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's fair.
What I think is more pertinent, because you're asking the question, how can anyone think that the Jedi are the good guys? Is again, just like we were talking about Furiosa and the Green Place. We are supposed to think the Jedis are the good guys now because we're told they're good guys, because they told us, and we're mouth-breathing idiots who don't know any better. Even though everything in the story exists to tell you that they're not. Because everything they do is wrong and often malevolent.
I mean, everything they do in the story isn't there to make them look malevolent and wrong.
Except it does.
It really does. After the first, I guess the second trilogy is what you would technically call it, but after the first set of movies, everything the Jedi do in the main storyline does make them look like massive assholes.
Here's the thing, because we have to be honest with ourselves about this. The original trilogy was made with a high school level understanding of space Buddhism.
Yeah.
Okay? Space Buddhism 101. Okay? The Jedi are good because at that time, in that place, we kind of thought maybe Eastern mysticism had a something important to say. Okay?
Mhm.
The sequel trilogy, which tries to be more political and darker, and fails at it miserably, right?
You mean the prequel trilogy?
Or the prequel trilogy, presupposes that it's going to be more Buddhist space Buddhism, right? So without actually explaining why removing oneself from worldly struggle is a good idea, yet again, here we go. They just tell you, you just kill your feelings. Just feel nothing. Just be a robot, right? To a generation of people who have been told their entire lives that it is wrong to feel angry and that you're a bad person for having feelings and opinions. Which by
You were
comparison,
talking about wanting to get the weeb audience. I got you, fam.
oh, yeah. But the result is that the Sith perspective looks more, if not correct, at least engaged to the human experience. Because we all have feelings. We all want to help people. Right? But then when you get into the sequel trilogy and the sequel series, all of which are let's add unexpected and unnecessary Christendom, the binary of absolute good and absolute evil on top of space Buddhism that we don't understand, right?
Mhm.
They also fail to comprehend that the reason people like the Sith is not because the Sith are correct. It's because they have good fashion sense and they have believable motivations. You want to make people like the Jedi? You want to make Jedi a believable perspective? Here's an idea. Let them be people, for fuck's sake, instead of robots that tell us they're real good.
Well, hold up, Joe. You also forgot that in the prequel trilogies, they decided the Jedi were also space cops.
Right. Which is not necessarily a bad idea, but it was terrible execution.
So, I saw something that I cannot fully comment on right now, but I want to talk to you about an adapted property. There's a graphic novel called Electric State by Simon Stolberg, depicting an alternate reality of the year 1997, in which a teenage girl and her toy robot journey through a technologically ravaged southwestern United States. That movie was adapted and will be coming to Netflix as a film. And
I didn't know if those art pieces were actually going to get made into a film. I just heard that people saying they would look very similar.
I saw the film in a preview that is available on if you're one of the upper end Netflix people, and it has a lot of retro futuristic robots. And this is the Russo brothers trying to create a new IP to be a dominant IP, and it. What's your opinion of the art book art, and the style, and the world that the art book gives off?
It's okay.
Now, what if I told you
My
that
opinion is I have no strong opinion. How's that?
What if I told you they spent $300 million to make that into a movie?
I would say tax dodge.
Do you understand how many people you could feed with that money?
Yeah.
At least 300.
Well, 300 Americans.
300,000 families, maybe, but yeah, sure.
Well, you can have some really good food
For a year.
Yeah. And it has Chris Pratt in it, playing a Chris Pratt character.
Look at me, I'm being a buzzsaw.
And Chris Pratt actually isn't playing with the humans. And it has quirky robots in it. And it has Millie Bobby Brown in it, playing a Millie Bobby Brown character.
Drake trying to fuck her?
Is who trying to fuck her?
Drake.
He's not involved in this movie.
I mean, but was he texting her on the side while this is going on?
I mean, probably. That does sound like something Drake would do.
He struck a chord. It was probably A minor.
Indeed. Indeed.
That chef's kiss, Church. That was an excellent pun.
No, that was a Kendrick Lamar lyric. I'm not taking credit for that.
It's still a good one.
No. It's a lot. There's multiple levels to that. Number one, there's the accusation that Drake is into underage women. Number one. Number two, Drake overuses the A minor chord in his music. And number three, A minor is the most basic musical chord. So it's also showing that Drake is choosing something because it's easy and he's lazy. So it's an insult that works on three levels.
It's a triple entendre, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
A triple threat, if you will.
Well, triple entendre is what we call it in the rap world we're in. Not that you would.
I would not, because I am super white.
I mean, we learned last week Church is a lot more into the rap world than we were even aware of.
Well, I mean, you got to look at. There's a song by Tyga called "Brand New," and it featured Lil Wayne. And here's the thing: when you feature Lil Wayne on the track in our current year of the Lord's 2024. You can't let him go first or second if there's a third person on the track. You have to make Wayne go last, or else he's going to make everyone else look stupid when they try and rap on the track. Because Wayne came out with a lyric that Eminem was jealous of, and he said, "Brand new money, brand new hundreds, got a bunch of zeros like a bag of new Funyuns." And that wasn't even the best lyric on the track, but Eminem was like, "Why the fuck didn't I think of that?" He was mad at himself. as he should have been.
Because people on the street like Funyuns.
I mean, I like Funyuns. I like the spicy Funyuns. Those are pretty good. But I'm going to shut up now and continue to be a buzzsaw.
So, Joe,
Killing a bunch of Chinese here in this game.
So, Joe, what do you got for material for the
Like
show
American.
today?
Well,
Other than you're seeing Furiosa, because that was good. We got to share our thoughts on the movie together and collaborate on it.
All right. So here's a media thing. Conversation currently. There's a new Batman cartoon coming called The Cape Crusader. It's got Bruce Timm as producer.
Right.
Right.
We get Asian heart.
Sorry, what?
You said Bruce Timm as producer. Wasn't he the voice of Batman?
No. The voice of Batman is dead. That was Kevin Conroy.
Right, but there was wait, wasn't Bruce Timm the voice of Batman in something?
No.
What am I thinking of? Did he write Batman?
Often.
He often wrote Batman. Comic books brought him in.
All right.
He was good.
Quick.
I knew his name
Timm
from somewhere, but I didn't know from what.
Quick overview of Bruce Timm for our viewing audience who don't know. Bruce Timm was a maker of cheesecake, low class, 50s style.
Oh, right. Like the Vampirella artist type.
Yeah.
Not the Vampirella artist himself, but the Vampirella
Right, but he did very 50s style. Somehow talked his way into being involved in Batman the Animated Series, which was adopting a Art Deco style. Right?
Which was very good.
Right. He and Paul Dini basically were so good as a creative team that they made Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Adventures, the new Batman and Robin Adventures, and Justice League. And that led to Justice League Unlimited, Batman Return, or Batman Beyond, Static Shock, and the Zeta Files. Okay, for the better part of a decade and a half, this man defined DC Animated as a concept.
Further, Dwayne McDuffie got into TV with Static Shock, with Justice League, and that led to a little show you might have heard of called Ben 10.
Yep.
Right.
So huge profile of influence in the animated cartoons.
But DC decided, hey, we're gonna retool our animated universe. We're gonna make it more anime style because kids like the animu, and we don't need you no more, Tim. And by that point, Paul Dini had gone on to work for DC directly, doing terrible comics. As editor-in-chief, if I recall correctly.
He also decided, hey, what if we did an animated movie where Batgirl and Batman, they have sex?
Yeah, which was awful. And what if we linked it to one of the most important Alan Moore joints? Because, hey, the Killing Joke, yeah, that's where we're going to introduce this whole Batman-Batgirl sex plot. Even though Batgirl's going to get her spine blown out by the Joker, that's not vile at all.
Because he got a huge pain. Wait.
At least 9 millimeter. So the thing is that they told Bruce Timm to get to the pavement, and then a couple years later they had Bruce Timm come back for a animated feature called Gods and Monsters, which was phenomenal. Yet again, Bruce Timm kicking the shit out of DC's animated.
I actually kind of disagree with you on that. I did not like Gods and Monsters.
Oh no, you can choose as an individual not to like it, but in comparison to the other material DC had put out to that point, in terms of action, animation, the structure of storytelling, it's great.
See, no, I'm not giving you that.
If you don't like the story, that's fine.
No, I'm not giving you that for the simple fact that DC has been putting out phenomenal animation since Mask of the Phantasm all the way back to the 90s.
No,
and that was a side exposure of the animated series.
Yeah, but that is not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is that after doing Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero, right, and to a lesser extent, Return of the Joker, which was really more of a Batman Beyond episode than an actual film because of corporate interference. They told
Sure.
Bruce Timm to get to Steppen, right? And everything
Then
they
the
did after
artistic
that,
quality declined,
yeah, pronouncedly.
and then the man came back
Significantly.
and kicked ass.
Right. And then it went back to being shit. I mean, I've seen Young Justice, sure. I really don't want to. I suppose Teen Titans is technically Tim era, although it wasn't Tim people, if I recall correctly. But anyway, but the point is that now they got Bruce Timm coming back for a new series, which is going to be on Cinemax. I want to say
I think it's on the streaming
HBO?
service.
It's on a streaming service. And people are pushing that. Well, Bruce Timm started it by saying he's really looking forward to being able to address mature issues they couldn't address before. And so
they went to
people are
Cinemax
talking.
for an animated short about Batman.
No, it's
not
an
the
animated
short,
series, sir. It's an animated series, sir.
I'm sorry, I don't need. I grew up with Spawn. I don't need
Mhm.
any more cartoon titties in my life. Like,
Well,
I think
hold
that-
up. This is the woke era, sir. You're not going to get cartoon titties.
Yeah, they've denied you. Your
I don't
titties.
need Bruce Wayne either.
You're not going to get Bruce Wayne either. The fact
I
that you
don't
want
know
Wayne
that.
or titties is the part of the offensiveness. How dare you?
I don't know that I'm not getting Bruce Wayne.
No. That has actually was a thing that when Black Label came out, apparently standards and practices says that violates their standards and practices for the Batman character.
Which is extra funny because apparently this means Batman going down on Catwoman okay, even though we don't say he did it, but actual bat penis bad.
I don't know. I still don't believe you.
But this new animated series is going to be set in the 40s, and we're going to see some really interesting things, like Asian Harley
The war
Quinn.
shit?
No, if only. We're going to see Asian Harley Quinn in the 1940s.
I'm
No,
not
that's not
interested in
the-
that.
No, that's not the fun part of that, Larry. You have to say the whole thing. We're going to get Asian lesbian Harley Quinn munching rug with Montoya in the 1940s.
Yes.
Yeah, something that never would have happened in.
Also, James Gordon's going to be black in the
Again.
40s.
Again, something that never would have happened in the fucking 40s.
Again. Because remember, in the most recent Batman film, that's what they did. They had a black Jim Gordon because they've apparently decided that instead of having Jim Gordon be a white dude from the 40s, and that his replacement being black as a political move, or a woman as a political move, was just too subtle.
The real good storyline there would be very similar to Lex Luthor being president. Is you have James Gordon usurped by Amanda Waller as chief of police in Gotham City.
Oh, we're not talking about good comic stories, Church. I'm just talking about the idea that in previous stories, they have had Jim Gordon replaced by a black guy, and they've had Jim Gordon replaced by a woman. And both of those were apparently too subtle, right, for modern audiences. So we just need to make Jim Gordon an actual black guy now. But, we have the ability
be a
to say
black
it's
woman
okay.
that's gay.
But
That's
we
the
have the
only way to
ability
do
to deflect attention away from it because it worked for Harvey Dent once. Never mind that Harvey Dent was played by Lando Calrissian, and it was amazing.
Oh, you're
For what-
talking? No, it worked for him. It worked for Harvey Dent and Two-Face in the animated series as well. Let's be fair.
Yeah, but the animated series was supposed to follow the lineage and the structure of the Batman '89 film. And to be clear, it's very uncertain whether or not Harvey is a person of color in that series. There are a lot of people who have kind of a universal golden brown skin tone, including
he was
Bruce
definitely
Wayne.
black.
I mean, I would say, as the folks in the South would say, that Harvey Dent, as portrayed in the animated series, was a high yellow.
Well,
Are you with me on that, Church?
I will let you guys
Yes.
hash that out. I will be right back.
Yes,
But yeah.
that's what I was about to say, but I didn't know if that was
And,
overly
and
offensive.
and then that gets into the whole racial caste and colorism thing. As you do.
As you do. How the fuck do I get up there?
So let me pull up our additional content because Rune left while we're in the middle of discussing things.
Yeah, I'm over here being a buzzsaw and whatnot. So I mean, obviously, I have priorities.
You do. Your priorities are that. Hey, so were you reading up on that Dr. Disrespect stuff?
I have looked into it, and I don't know what to believe anymore because there are some people that saying, "Oh, there's plenty of evidence that he didn't do anything wrong," and I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that now.
That's what
there are allegations that the 17-year-old he was talking to was not an actual 17-year-old. Yes. And that was because, Twitch employees were out to get the doctor. And there is the other fact that these rogue Twitch employees have leaked the information. That means Twitch owes Dr. Disrespect another payday now.
Basically. But he'll never get it.
No, he will.
No. Absolutely.
No, because they violated their court order agreement.
Yeah, but he has to be able to prove that. And
no, they did because actual Twitch documents were leaked on the internet.
Oh,
actual Twitch documents that Twitch said they were going to seal as part of their settlement. Because the youngins, they don't believe that confidential documents that you're supposed to keep confidential. They don't believe in doing that. They believe they could just say whatever they want whenever they want.
As they do.
As they do. I mean, I'm not really into Dr. Disrespect on all that. I don't know the deep lore of him. I don't watch Twitch because whenever I've gone to Twitch, I see things I'm going, well, why don't I just watch YouTube? Because this looks like it would be better on YouTube. Now, the more concerning thing for me is apparently Dr. Disrespect was messaging a tranny hooker.
I mean, so was Eddie Murphy.
And Sargon of Akkad.
The Sargon got a Sargon.
And let's not forget the trans pornography that ended up on Alex Jones's phone because he had a pop-up virus.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those pop-ups, they're pesky.
Yeah. So I wonder how long it's going to take for him to get back for his thing.
The Dr. Disrespect thing, I don't know. Like, why should I care? A bunch of people are fucking arguing about a bunch of shit that doesn't actually matter.
Well, I mean, it matters because allegedly, if this is all true, a corporation targeted somebody and got away with it because they didn't like the man's politics. And they chose to single him out because of his politics, which is illegal.
Oh, well, I mean, that's just to be expected at this point, isn't it?
So, have you watched Stranger Things?
Parts of it. My wife and kids or my wife and kid, I should say. My oldest son is into it.
I have not watched an entire episode of Stranger Things. I've not been able to get through one. But one of the creatives involved said of the new upcoming season, described the final season of Stranger Things as 8 movies. it takes as long to write each season, and a long time to shoot them. We're basically making 8 movies. So what they're claiming is that there's 16 hours of content in the final season of Stranger Things. That seems unlikely.
Holy shit! I'm about to die.
Give me a second. See if I have anything else good, because this was a thin week for content.
Well, like I said, I've been working all week. I'm about to die. There's no way I'm going to finish this level. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Might cough up some help. Nope, boss killed me.
Oh, Alex Stein debunked Ethan Van Sciver. Said, does it matter if a comic is made up of corporate clip art?
Look, I know who Alex Stein is, but who?
Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
The guy who's supposed to have a Frog comic book come out, and then another Frog.
I think he was somewhat tangentially related to Green Lantern before he started running his mouth off about a bunch of shit that he shouldn't have.
And he was more tangentially related to the X-Men.
No, I refuse to believe that. Now, while I love Green Lantern and don't want to, besmirch their image, the X-Men, they're precious to me, and Ethan Van Fuckface should never touch them.
Well, I mean, he did. He made a character for the X-Men.
Wait. Is he responsible for what was it?
Dust, the Afghan girl.
No. Was he involved in drawing that whole No More Mutant debacle?
I don't remember. He was drawing when Grant Morrison was on X-Men.
Oh, did you see our boy Jim's stream on Boogie yesterday?
I didn't, and I knew you would see it, and
bring that
to the game. I mean,
so Boogie.
All I know about Boogie is he's a giant fat fuck.
No. See, here's the thing. Here's some content for you. I will just pull this up. Where's my subscription page? We're gonna listen to Jim be mad.
Heck yeah.
When was the last time you heard Jim actually upset?
When somebody's molested a child.
Yeah, see.
Basically, you fuck with a kid and Jim gets mad.
Yeah, see, Jim got mad and there was no kid involved.
And that is unusual.
So let's see here. We'll just pull this over now so that I can do both. We'll present, share screen. Boom. There we go. Share audio.
Well, a happy honk and a snort to you, chat. Oh boy. I love a good fucking crypto scam. I love it when an influencer decides to fuck his audience right in the ass, bend them over good and hard, give them the loving that they deserve. Don't you love it? Don't you love it when a YouTube personality decides that you're so fucking stupid you should get ripped off? That you should get bent over and fucked unmercifully?
Holy shit, Jim is mad.
Jimmy's dick all hard. Had to do a stream. A little bit aroused at the prospect of getting absolutely fucked. Thank you, Boogie. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to just bend over, open that wallet, and let you slide on in, big guy. Oh, am I a part of the sub club now, Boogie? Is it one for you and one for the hooker, buddy? Oh, let's all get ready. Let's get ready to get gripped good. Good and fucking welcome to the Sub Club.
One for me and one for my hooker. One for me and one for my hooker. One for me and one for my hooker. One for me and one for the hooker. One
Oh
for me
yeah,
and one
thrust it, big boy.
Welcome to the Sub Club.
Oh, welcome to the Sub Club.
One for the hooker. One for me and one for the hooker.
Let the bed do the work, fatty.
One for the hooker. One for me and one for the hooker. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Out of breath already. It's okay, Stud. Welcome to the Sub Club. Keep fucking away. Oh, he's satisfied after 22 seconds. No wonder that marriage lasted so long.
I'm sorry, guys.
Welcome to the Sub Club. Welcome to the Sub Club. I got to say, Jimmy's a little pissed off, a tad bit angry, a little bit irritated at this particular grifting shit that's been going on. Now, I know Boogie gets into a lot of things. We're going to talk about some of those things today. Going to talk about a few of them. I know he gets into shenanigans. He does things that he shouldn't be doing. And he gets a pass every fucking time he does them. But this one hit a little close to home for Jimmy, you know, considering aspects of what's happening. And I wanted to talk about it. Wanted to do a stream. Saving my energy up to do a 4th of July grift, and this fat son of a bitch has to come on in and pull some fucking bullshit like this. So I decided, you know what? We'll do a stream. We'll do a stream talking about it. I'm not even the only one talking about it. What are you already seeing happen? You've got CoffeeZilla put out a video. Mudahar put out a video. I hear Charlie put out a video. Because everybody sees it for what it is. Now, maybe you're unfamiliar with what Boogie did. Oh, you know what? I'm so fucking irritated. I'm jumping right into it. Usually I'm a whore, and I've got to be a whore first. But look I've added a feature. Now, I know a lot of people clip the stream. There are people that restream the streams. There are people that re-upload the streams. And I thought, how can I help? Because I know that when I do a super chat segment or I move on to a different subject, some people like it, some people don't. So I made a little look at this. See that little overlay? So now when you're restreaming or you're clipping shit, now you know exactly what we're talking about. We're on the Boogie segment. I figure that helps organize things, keeps it nice and neat for everybody. Put it a little.
Holy shit.
Whew, it's arduous. It was arduous, but I did it.
He mad.
So what has our little Boogie boy been up to? Well, he's running a scam. He's running a big boy scam. A scam that basically makes no sense to me. And I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to watch, we're going to watch CoffeeZilla's video, most definitely. We're going to go over his bullshit take on this. I'm talking about Boogie's bullshit take on this when he's talking on Twitter about it. But there's a limit. You know, there's a limit to what you can do when you fuck people over. Look at, you know, YouTube as a platform, streaming as a platform, being an internet personality, an influencer, whatever kind of bullshit phrase or term you want to use for that, offers you a plethora of ways of monetization. There are people out there that make videos and they monetize simply through ads. Others come up with contracts and they work for companies. They'll put a little advert in the video itself. They don't even let the site do it. How many times have you heard people shill Raid Shadow Legends to you? Everybody's out there. They're making a buck. There's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty fucking upfront. Other people do super chats. Don't forget that Ko-Fi link and that Cash App link. Or maybe they sell merchandise. They do a hat for a hat. Hell, some people even go out and they do a Kickstarter or they do a GoFundMe.
But does your hat
They run their own
have a
fucking
hat?
company. They put a product out and they sell it directly to you. Talking about people like Eric July, who successfully puts out products and makes money doing it. There are a plethora of ways to make money. You may get shit for it. People may laugh at you. Oh, you're some online fucker. And it's basically begging. They'll joke about it, but you're upfront about what you're doing. But then there are those that they got to take it a level further. It's just the greatest so much, they just can't stop at doing the basic bitch shit that everybody fucking does. No, they've got to decide that they're above it. They've got some excuse to fuck you, to fuck their audience, to get away with it because nobody holds them accountable.
Wow.
And see, here's the thing. It's not that Boogie ran a crypto scam that pissed Jim off.
For it because they're big and they're goofy and he's like Santa Claus. He's fat and rotund. So he can fuck your wallet and get away with it. But there's a limit. No, you can't do that. You don't get to just fuck people and pretend you don't understand you're fucking them. This crypto scam shit has been going on for a while with influencers. A lot of people are fucking doing it. There are multiple channels that call it out. You're well aware of what you're doing. This sob story, this bullshit story that you don't get it, that it's a joke, that it's a laugh, that you're having fun. Knock, knock. Who's there? Fucking your audience is there. That's the joke. What's the punchline, Boogie? That you put out bullshit cryptocurrency to fuck your audience over? And then what? Well, they must have been stupid if they fell for it. I'm going to hit them with a sympathy story. That excuses me being a crooked fuck. Tough luck for them. I can't just do what everybody else does. I can't just do fucking streams with super chats. I can't just sell merchandise. I can't just put up a fucking GoFundMe or a Kickstarter. I have to screw people out of their money. And then I'm going to lie about why I'm screwing them out of their fucking money. It's a little reprehensible, Boogie. It's a little fucked up. I mean, how many years of this kind of shit do you get away with over and over and over? And it's not particularly this. It's just other shit, man. How many times have I heard from fucking different people online, content creators and other people, that any time that you get cornered on any shit that you do, out comes some sob story, out comes suicide baiting bullshit in DMs, where it's all golly gee gosh, I guess it's time to kick the chair out. Until you get them to back off. You know, how much shit are you going to spoon feed people like what, Mudahar or Charlie or others to get them to back off? You going to slide in those DMs? Big guy, you going to welcome to the sub club? You know, arguments with subreddits trying to get them shut down because you don't like criticism. Suicide baiting in DMs. Just shitty little things that you do. And you get a pass for it, and people move on from it, and it's just Boogie. It's shucks, it's just Boogie. But now here we are with this. And it's supposed to be excusable because you've fallen on hard times. Well, you're not the only one, motherfucker, that's fallen on hard times. And this is why this particularly pisses me off, Boogie. So let me try to explain this before we get into it, because you might be wondering, why do I sound somewhat angry about this? Because I'm dying, you fucking cunt. Because I actually have cancer and I'm dying from it. Painfully, you fat piece of shit. And throughout all of that, I haven't fucking screwed my audience. I didn't do a crypto scam, Boogie. I did streams. I collected super chats. I sold fucking hats, Boogie. That's what I did. Oh, is medicine expensive? Is cancer tough? Shit, God, who would know? Oh, well, fuck, I would. You think I'm out here streaming because it's fun for me, asshole? I'm in pain every fucking day, Boogie. I'm dying. I stream to make money so my wife has shit for when she puts me in the dirt. So when I see your fat ass crying about you can't afford shit and it's because of cancer and back off and it's acceptable that you do shit like this because you're sick, it's a load of shit to me, buddy. It's a big load of fucking bullshit to me, Boogie. Because I'm going through the same thing. But I don't need to rob the people that watch me as some kind of fucking excuse. I put up a link to sell hats. Put up a link for super chats. I make money, I don't. That's the way it fucking works. But I don't screw people that have watched me for a decade for a quick amount of fucking pocket change. And I'm almost certain, asshole, that when you were talking to CoffeeZilla, the first thing that you went into when you talked to him was about, oh shit, I'm so sick, I've got cancer, I needed that money for cancer medicine. And then what do I see in my fucking chat, Boogie? What do you actually have the balls to put into my fucking chat, Boogie? I'm on a weight loss drug. The whole reason I took the crypto deal was to be able to afford it, LOL. I'll tell the people that tell me running a crypto scam on my audience is reprehensible and wrong. I'll tell people they need to pity me for being sick. And then I'll laugh about it in the chat and tell them the real reason I fucked people over or attempted to or was willing to be a part of fucking people over was so I could lose some weight. LOL. LOL. My audience are a bunch of fucking suckers. LOL. Ha ha ha. LOL. CoffeeZilla. Go fuck yourself. Mudahar. Charlie. Ha ha ha. You have the balls to come into my fucking chat, you fat piece of shit, and ask what? That we'd be nice to you, that you could come on and do your golly gee shuck shit for the fucking audience, your little shuffle and jive? Fuck you, fat boy. You don't get to do that today. Not after crying cancer and telling people that you needed the money for medicine and medical bills, and then the medicine and medical bills are because you're a fat fuck that needs to lose weight? Maybe you're a fat fuck, Boogie, because you shouldn't be eating so much goddamn fucking fast food. Ever think about that? Ever think maybe the reason that you would need a Omeprazole or Zepbound or any of this other shit is because you eat too fucking much junk food, asshole? And instead of taking a weight loss drug, stop eating so much. Shut your fucking mouth. Cook at home. Eat a salad, fatty. Is that so fucking hard to comprehend? But because you can't eat a salad, you're going to rob people? Are you fucking kidding me? Find a bridge and throw yourself off it, Boogie. It won't kill you. The Lord will bounce your ass back up like a goddamn volleyball. Maybe you'll lose some weight each impact. Ho-whack, ho-whack, ho-whack. And you can save some cash. You don't have to rob your audience then. So yeah, I'm a tad bit pissed off. It irritates me a little bit as a guy going through the thing you're pretending you're going through. And I'm not saying you're pretending you have cancer. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You say you have cancer? I agree you have cancer. You say medicine and health insurance and drugs those are expensive? I absolutely agree. I bet you they are. I'll take you at your word on all of that shit. But what I'm not going to take you on your word for is when you tell people that the reason you're fucking them is to pay for the cancer stuff when you're in chat laughing about it. You're fucking in chat laughing about it. That's why I'm doing it, LOL. Because I swear to God, I just saw you run your mouth for a day and a half telling people it's because of the cancer. But now here you are. The reason you took the crypto deal was to afford some weight loss medication. Fucking really, buddy? I guess we really all are in the sub club, huh, Boogie? Oh boy. Welcome to the sub club. Everybody, oh yeah.
One for me and one for my hooker.
Oh yeah.
One for me and one for my hooker.
Let's see that world famous stamina.
One for me and one for the hooker.
That's right.
One for me and one for my hooker.
That's your audience.
Welcome to the sub club.
Welcome to the sub club. Fuck them
One for
good.
me and one for the hooker. One for me and one for the hooker. One for me and one for the hooker. One for me and one for the hooker. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did not sign on to see this today.
Already out of breath.
Welcome to the sub club.
Take it, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll take it. We're all gonna take it, Boogie.
So
Fucking
Rune,
hell. Do you have any morals? Compunction? Do you feel guilt at all? I watched a
Church?
documentary with you.
we have heard the righteous anger of one Jim O'Shaughnessy there.
Patio furniture. Get his
What
name right.
Medicare?
Yeah, Mr. Medicare. He has he's got some anger because another streamer claims, well, can't hold me responsible for defrauding my audience because I have cancer. And Jim is very angry at that because, like, going, bitch, I have cancer. I have cancer worse than you, and I'm here getting super chats and selling hats.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
It has been a while since church has in fact been church-like.
Mm. But
Quoting the
you
Gospel
remember
of St. Jackson.
how long ago was it when it was Boogie versus Wings of Redemption in that boxing match?
Oh shit, that was last year.
Last year, Boogie was on the path to, not being a piece of shit. And yeah, no, he's found a way to be a piece of shit. That was some good content, Church. Saroon, what do you got to take us home with?
What to take us home with? Well, I mean, as I've mentioned a couple of times, couple of shows, I've been reading Game of Thrones, and I've pretty much figured it's mostly boring.
Well, yeah, Game of Thrones is boring because George R.R. Martin is not a good writer.
George
Let's
R. R.
see,
Martin is not a terrible writer. George R.
I
R.
didn't say-
Martin just needs someone to rein him in.
I didn't
So-
say he was terrible. I
Let
said
me
he wasn't
finish.
good.
Let me finish. It's not that he is even a bad writer or a boring writer. George R. R. Martin has ideas, and he needs someone to be like, maybe you just don't, George. So when you're describing a 14-year-old's breast between her Dothraki clothing and a 16-year-old's penis as observed by an 11-year-old, maybe just fucking don't, George. And you see the differential when you observe George's work in Game of Thrones, where he has no one there to say, maybe don't do that, George. And then you look at his Wild Cards work, where he has a lot of people saying, what
Well-
the fuck are you doing, George?
Well, hold up. Don't forget, in Wild Cards, he was the editor,
Actually,
number one.
No, he was also a writer.
Right, he was the editor of the whole anthology series.
Correct.
That was-
But there were other people telling him, maybe just fucking don't, George.
But hold up. Number two, more importantly than number one, the stories were based off of his tabletop role-playing game with his writing friends.
And you don't think they made terrible sexually charged jokes in those games?
Not everybody does that. Not everybody signed up for that.
There were a bunch of writers. I'm sure they crossed the table, but I'm sure most of his writer companions looked at him and said, "No, those don't go to the book, George. George, calm the fuck down."
So, what insights have you gained from reading Game of Thrones?
Hey,
So-
fuck you. It's a good book series. The main tragedy is Roy Dotrieve died, so we'll never get the other audiobooks in the
Well-
true form they should have.
well,
had,
here's the thing:
if
is
they're
that
ever
I am
completed.
I am working through the first book. Okay, and while I was away from the stream for just a moment or two, for reasons we need not get into, I read a couple of more pages because it is an ideally sized book, exactly for what I need it for.
Room
when
was taking a shit, y'all.
I don't know what you're talking about. But the thing is that I know almost exactly, shot for shot, where I am in the first season of Game of Thrones. And I'm looking for the differences. I'm trying to find the difference that is supposed to elevate
You're not going to
this
find
book.
a whole lot of differences up until the 5th season and the 5th book.
Right, but I was hoping that there would be some, right? And
There are
I
going to
remember,
be a couple, but they're very subtle.
and the thing is, I remember really enjoying the actual series, the actual television fiction was like, oh, season 1 was great. The only thing that I'm coming away with is I am now. I was unsure before. Now I'm 100% sure that bitch at LARP and her boyfriend are sick people.
The who?
All right, so
No,
Major plot
repeat what
point-
you said real quick.
yeah,
No, I didn't. I literally didn't hear you.
the only thing that I have come away with reading to where I am in the book
Mhm.
to date, okay, is that bitch at LARP and her husband are sick people.
Yeah, I still don't understand. Continue.
Yeah, I need to explain it.
Yes.
So some time ago, I was at LARP, and there was a young man named Garrett. Garrett could not have a character live longer than a session. Garrett's characters were a walking disaster area, right? And his girlfriend, later wife, was likable, but also kind of a mess, kind of a disaster. And they did not care for Game of Thrones. I'm like, well, why? And she was like, because they took that romance and made it awful and wrong. And I'm like, what romance is that? And they're like, the romance between Daenerys and Khal Drogo. And I'm like, how? And they basically begin to opine how this scene where a small child is given to a fucking wasteland barbarian at the far end of the world is actually an amazing womanly, you know, moment of self-realization as she's getting brutally fucked by Jason Momoa.
Okay,
And I'm like,
so
what?
let me. As you've read the books, I'm assuming you've gotten to this part in the books, right?
I am past that part of the book.
So in the books, you see how it's fairly well written that it is literally that in the books. Like she takes
No,
charge of their
no, it's not.
It is.
It's
she
not.
takes charge of their relationship.
No,
She's
no,
the one
no,
who's in
no,
control
no,
of
no,
them
no, no, no,
laying
no, no.
together.
No, you're talking about shit that hasn't happened yet.
You're right. You're right.
This one was talking about the actual immediate scene, the first time they have sex.
Oh no, I'm talking
Right?
about their marriage. My bad.
And it's
I'm
like,
talking about their wedding.
right. No, I'm at the point where she's on the Dothraki Sea figuring out that she has all the power and her brother's a fucking waste of space. Right?
Are
Because
they married yet?
they are distinctly married.
Okay, during
Okay.
their marriage, she takes charge of their relationship,
But she
and it is
hasn't
an
yet.
empowering moment.
But she hasn't yet. Okay? What I'm saying
So
is
they're
that
not
these
married in the book?
No,
that
they're
you're reading?
married, but she hasn't taken charge yet. I just
She's
read the
not.
paragraph. I just read
She's
the
not put on her
paragraph.
big girl pants yet.
Right. I just read the paragraph where every night he comes home after drinking, whoring, and murderizing, and does his duty on her, and she just cries into her pillow and hopes he doesn't see.
Okay, I
'Cause she hasn't
thought
figured
that
it
was
out yet.
before they were married. Oh wait, no, he doesn't fuck her before they're married. You're right.
Right. They get married, then he starts fucking her basically every night, but it's
It's
not
after she gets her handmaidens and they teach
Right.
her.
right after they
Right,
explain to
okay.
her the way of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
So, but no,
we're
that's the
on
thing.
the same page.
This
It's like,
young
sweetie,
woman,
It's
sweetie.
been so long since I read that book. It's
Yeah.
been a while.
but this
It's
young
like,
woman
sweetie,
and
listen. You have all the vagina, and he's a man, and he wants all the vagina.
right.
Yeah.
But this young woman and her husband at this LARP that I do, they
And
thought
when
the
he comes
whole
to take
thing,
it, you can literally just stab him.
but they thought the whole thing was this huge romantic connection, and I was like, no, I don't believe you. I don't think that that's going to turn out to be true.
Well,
I mean, Joe, were they of the right age where they could have read gore?
No, I don't think that. Here's the thing: we're talking about people who are not smart enough to know gore exists.
But they would have been into gore if they read it.
Let me tell you a Garrett story. Let me tell you a gamer story from many moons ago. So we almost got in trouble once for getting Garrett's character killed, but we got Garrett's character killed for reasons that Garrett should have known better. And even the storytellers in charge were like, "No, man, you know what you did." Okay, how so? So there I am, and I am playing my first Invictus ever. I am Captain Silver. I am a Nosferatu. What's my deal? Oh, I'm the historical figure Captain Silver that the fictional character Long John Silver was based on. I'm still a pirate. I've always been a pirate. Well, how do you pirate now? It's like, oh, just every couple of decades I find some treasure that I may have buried at some point, and I put it on the auction market. You know, I just discover it by accident. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm hanging out with this group called the New Flesh. Who are the New Flesh? The New Flesh are a bunch of Carthians, but they are radical politicos who are making waves. They're getting in trouble. Why do they like me? Because I empowered them to get one over on one of their enemies. So I'm on their good boy list, right? And it's me and a guy named Acrimony. Now, who is Acrimony? Acrimony is a man who was renowned for a punishment called 2 scoops of shame, which I will not describe on air because our audience has to go home to their families. But it involved deeply personal violations And I got to help Acrimony do one once on one of my enemies by providing the cake into which someone's face was shoved while they were vigorously violated. So, we're being mature here. Okay? And we're hanging out. It's the start of the night. And in walks Garrett's character, a Gangrel. Now, for people who don't know what Gangrel is, besides the wrestler and the guy that World of Darkness had the license to use the name, the Gangrel are savage, stalwart, physical, hardcore. What is Garrett's character? It's a dude in a punk rock t-shirt and jeans wearing an electric pink spiked dog collar. I looked at Acrimony. Acrimony looked at the prince. The prince looked at his superiors, and all of us said, no. And it was just agreed. There was no plan. It didn't matter how it went down. I had nothing to do with it. I just got to kick back and watch. But his character was dead before the end of the night. Because we were not going to live on a world with that man wearing a pink dog collar to gape.
I mean, he was a masquerade violation.
Right. Exactly. So when I say Garrett was a walking disaster area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He had many characters that did not live long. And anytime he had a character that was halfway making it, he would get bored and he would make a new character that would not live long. He actively chose to have characters that would die horribly. And like I said, his wife / girlfriend was a much more likable person, but apparently they were into some weird shit, because apparently Child Bride being forcibly taken by her, barbarian husband is the most passionately romantic thing they can imagine.
First, we're gonna add in our yolk.
I don't know about you, but I think everyone in this story should die.
I think we need a palate cleanser, and Church is providing us with one.
First, we're gonna add in our yolk right into the eyeballs. It's been in here quite a while. Wow.
Start by placing our partially cooked chicken into our jar of peanut butter.
TikTok cooking, a phrase that sometimes wakes me in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. Why, you may ask? Oh, my sweet summer child, you
Joe's been doing YouTube behind our backs, boys.
still have so much to learn. Now, we're no stranger to bad TikTok cooking on this channel. Matter of fact, we are quite literally the opposite. If there's a bad chef on TikTok, then you can bet your sweet bippy that I know about him. And today, we are revisiting one of the worst offenders we have ever seen on this channel. It's a TikTok account I'm sure many of you remember, My Jane Brain. And I revisited Jane's account a few days ago to see if she was still up to no good, and well, this video is being made.
What are you doing
now,
to
if you
that
haven't seen the
chicken?
video that I did about Jane a few months ago, well then, my friend, you are in for a treat. And I mean that with literally no sincerity, because this video is likely going to ruin your day. Because we're about to watch a few of Jane's most recent creations, and they're really not pleasant, okay? I recommend that you put any food products that you might be interacting with to the side, and I suggest that you remove small children from the room. It's about to get serious, baby. Let's begin.
First, we're gonna add in our yolk right into
this
the
is not actually
eyeballs.
so bad.
One egg here in the mouth.
Wow, okay, not even 5 seconds in and I'm already ready to turn off my computer. Not even going to give us an introduction, not even going to tell us what we're making. We're just making a meat man. No context. A meat man infused with eggs. You can't just do that. You can't just drop that on a person, okay? That's not cool.
And the last yolk here, we can't forget about seasoning our ground beef. The black pepper on here. Lay's chips. Yep, you heard it. So go ahead and just put those all the way around the beef. Lightly salted ruffles. And these you can crush up a little bit smaller. And just place those all around the edges as well. All right, you can't have mashed potatoes without some light cream.
Oh my god, what? Surely my ears are deceiving me. Are you planning on making mashed potatoes out of potato chips? Surely that's against the law, correct? I mean, we are a country
Bitch,
with
don't call
some
me
standards,
Shirley.
right? We're really gonna let this slide, guys? Really? Okay, sure.
So we're just going to gently pour that in What would mashed potatoes be without butter, honestly?
Yeah, I know. Another good question to ponder. What would mashed potatoes be without potatoes?
Now we're gonna just place these butter slices all the way around the pan. We need some parsley, and we're just gonna place it gently around our beef. I don't know why these eyes are all red, but we're just gonna go in with a little more seasoning.
Because that's
so you
the
don't want
blood, you
bland
dumb
mashed
bitch.
potatoes. I like mine really garlicky, but that looks nice. All right, let's see if they're turning into mashed potatoes. Because that's what they used to be. So we're just
I don't know. Did
restoring
you
them to
fucking
their
mash these
natural
motherfuckers,
habitat.
you dumbass?
This is genuinely horrifying. Not only this abysmal mashed potato situation, are you guys seeing this face? That is a face of nightmares. Please do something about that. I really don't want to look at it anymore.
Just to get them even thicker and creamier, we're going to add
Joe's
some of
face
this
right now.
tri-blend cheese. Now we want the cheese to melt, so we're just going to put the lid on this for a while, let it steam up. This has been in here quite a while. Wow. Look at that. The eggs are perfectly cooked.
I am genuinely being unnerved by this video. I really don't like this meat face, guys. Am I alone in this? Am I the only one finding this slightly terrifying? That meat man is not right.
Now let's take a look. And if this is ready to be flipped, we're just going to go for it.
Listen to that.
Oh, yeah. It's ready. All right. We're going for it. These actually look like mashed potatoes, and you can't tell me they don't.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to tell you they don't. That was spoken like a person who has never seen a mashed potato in their life. At best, they look like cheesy caramelized onions. Mashed potatoes? No.
We're just going to guide our little face right out of the pan. I am so excited to try this. How good does this look? Let's see how good this turned out. Oh, yeah. Now that is a burger.
Excuse me? So first you make a meat man, and then you make mashed potatoes out of potato chips, and you come around and tell me that this is supposed to be a burger? What burger is served with mashed potatoes, first off, and what burger doesn't have a bun? Just when I thought this video couldn't get any more wrong, I made some turkey meatballs today. Are those burgers too? Is the only requirement in your mind meat? Come on, Jane, you're better than this.
Start by placing our partially cooked chicken into our jar of peanut butter. We're going to cut the edges off of 4 or 5 slices of bread. Now we're going to use the rolling pin to flatten out our slices of bread. And I'm just going to make them into nice strips. I'm going to lay the bread on just like this.
Why does this remind me of like paper mache?
Crafts, but make it dinner.
You know, it actually makes me sad that a chicken had to die for this. Now, I'm not against eating meat or anything. Like I said, I had some turkey meatballs today, which were pretty fantastic if I do say so myself. But like, these are living things. You're toying with a carcass for TikTok views. This is a real thing that had to die to go on a shelf for you to dip it in peanut butter and throw it away after making a stupid TikTok. Come on.
One last piece on here like that. Now it's time to make our coating. We're going to take some of these maple cookies. We're just going to mash these up. We're going to take 2 handfuls of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and go back in with our rolling pin. I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs.
Yeah, because there was definitely not enough binding agent between the 17 maple cookies and the 4 cups of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Those breadcrumbs are crucial.
I'm going to mix that all together. I'm going to take 4 eggs and make a nice egg wash for our chicken. I'm going to throw in some cinnamon right into our egg wash. Going into our cookie cereal crumble.
Okay. Why is this kind of turning into something?
Why are you lying? This is not turning into something. This is half-cooked chicken with strips of white bread on it covered in pure sugar. Please explain what this is turning into. I'm all ears.
I told you. Why don't you trust me? Herbert,
It's turning into diabetes.
Into the air
That's
fryer. Now
that's
that our
what's turning
chicken is all
into.
covered up in the
My
crust,
stomach
I'm
bubbling.
going to pop them back in the air fryer for 10 minutes and let them cook. Wow. Perfectly golden brown. Gonna dip our chicken in our sauce.
Back up. No explanation on what the sauce is? Because that doesn't look right. If anything, it actually looks quite wrong. Why are you dipping your white bread cinnamon chicken in what appears to be a strawberry smoothie? You know what? Actually, why am I even questioning it? Given the context, it makes perfect sense.
See, he's being generous. He's saying that looks like a strawberry smoothie. That looks like the juice you poured out of the container of the raw chicken, you dumb bitch.
There is a term we invented in gamer circles for this.
Oh my
Sputum.
gosh.
Is that good?
So good. Peanut butter and lime jam.
Do me a favor, look into those eyes and tell me with a straight face that those are the eyes of somebody who enjoys what they're eating. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Meth.
That bitch ran over her ex-boyfriend and left him in the snow to die, a la Karen Reed.
Start with our eggs, ground beef,
What?
medium queso, freshly chopped.
Chris Hansen. Is
Yes, Larry?
Well, why are we doing this in a bag of Doritos?
Because it's a walking taco.
Onions, salt into the water, and then a little into the bag. Some milk, hot and spicy here. It'll go perfectly
You
with
got to
the Cool
season the
Ranch
bag too, Larry.
cheese
That's why you
slices.
salt the water in the bag.
And you want to mix it
boiling
all together. This is the quickest way to make your beef dinner.
You know what? I'm gonna have
Or,
to
you know, you can
disagree
make
with
it
that,
the
but what
right
I
way.
will agree with is that this is probably the quickest way to get cancer. In my entire life, I have never had the thought even cross my mind. You know
Hey,
what?
this
I'm gonna
looks like
trade
Jim
out
has
all of my
cancer
normal
now.
cooking techniques, and instead, I'm gonna boil everything I eat in a Doritos bag. I mean, what are the kids saying these days? Microplastics? This has gotta be a speed run for finding those guys, right?
The water is boiling. We're just going to bring this up and down. This is the technique to
Larry,
make
you
it
sound
cook
like you're gonna
really
start
fast.
crying,
It's
man.
been about 20 minutes.
Master Chef
And I can
special,
feel it.
guys.
It
Pay
just
attention.
feels done. It's so heavy. Ready?
Oh yeah.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
heavy.
It's a lot of beef in there. There we go.
Oh God.
This looks incredible.
You know,
At
that's what I
least
see in my
have some
toilet
basic
after I
respect
drink
for
too
your
much bourbon.
audience. First off, I know you did not sit there for 20 minutes bobbing a bag up and down in boiling water. This is clearly something you cooked off camera, but I mean, good for you, because I would start to be really concerned if you ate out of a boiled Dorito bag for TikTok. You know those really stupid signs and warnings you see on things and wonder, why would anybody ever need to be told that? In a few years on Dorito bags, it's going to say, please do not use as a cooking vessel.
All right, let's get a bite
Also,
of this.
that looks like diarrhea.
Wow. Why is that so good?
It's because you're lying. Well, guys, another day, another TikTok food waster. I mean, really nothing new. I think that's my biggest complaint about these videos is not that they're making these stupid recipes, it's that they're making them just to waste it. Like, just in these 3 TikToks alone, there was a considerable amount of food, most of which came from animals. I mean, seriously, maybe I was just raised differently, but that's a pretty weird disconnect for me. If something died for me to eat it, I'm not gonna throw it in the trash for a TikTok. Sorry. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't.
Oh.
Chicken leg right into our chocolate powder. Thick piece of bacon. Wrap that up. There is nothing you can't put on chicken. Mixed herbs, cumin on there, tomato paste, some garlic,
Wait,
red chilies.
wait,
We've got
what-
some grapes or sultanas. Pouring
What?
our chocolate marinade. Look
What?
at that. Paint the town red, they said.
You sure those
Wha-
are gonna get crispy under there?
Oh yeah. Let's get this
Wha-
chicken mole into the oven.
Well,
You mean
It's the same bitch. It's the same bitch,
The whole
guys.
house smells like hot chocolate. We got to get this out of here.
We're
No
from the
shit.
same girl.
Wow. I think this is like one of the most unique dishes we've made. Let's just pull one of these out.
Oh, that
Oh
smells so
God.
good.
Oh
Perfectly
no.
Juicy onions. You want to
No.
get this amazing marinade cutting right through that bacon.
You
Just
did
goes
this to
right
you.
off the bone. Wow.
Practically cooked.
Cheers. Mmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Broccoli,
Close your eyes so we
chickeny.
don't see the
Talk about
horror.
that.
I'm here for it.
Chicken leg right into our chocolate powder. Piece of bacon.
what?
Why is it in the car?
Didn't you say diabetes, Larry?
I
Why
did.
is it in the car?
Glad it's not a toilet, Rune.
Oh.
No! No! All of this was fine until the fucking no.
No maple syrup in the ice cream. Wait, are you just gonna eat that bucket of fucking slop as you drive about your goddamn day?
Oh,
I hope all of your days are ruined now.
oh. I'm
Don't you,
gonna
Miss
have
Ayrton?
I'm gonna have nightmares now, Church.
You're welcome.
My
This is why you get fully aired and not missing any more shows because instead of 5 terrible recipes, you usually only get 2.
it's more you quality controlled that to make it more horrifying. Because like that whole container of peanut butter that went in the trash after she dipped the chicken in it.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. She's going to be a mukbanger by next week.
You want it.
That was before Amberlynn Reed.
You know what? I'm just gonna say goodnight, everybody.